Hey guys, Horror Lorekeeper here, and yeah, we need to talk about that FNAF 2 movie trailer, because there are some shots in there that look like harmless fan service, but when you slow it down and line it up with what we already know from the first movie, it gets way more disturbing. Today we're breaking down the disturbing hidden details in the FNAF 2 movie trailer. We're gonna walk through what we can see, how the animatronics are presented, the locations, how the human characters are framed, and then go into the theories that explain why the trailer is hiding so much in the background. We'll cover appearance, behavior, story implications, and of course the bigger FNAF lore ties. So sit back, relax, and let's dive back into the world of FNAF.
So you wanna tell me about your bad dreams?
First, let's put this trailer in the right corner of the FNAF universe. This isn't a full reboot, it's clearly a sequel to the first film's events because we can tell they're still using that rundown Fazbear look, still leaning into the 80s 90s Dead Mall aesthetic, but now we're seeing a busier pizzeria. More posters, more color, and what looks like either a second location or a renovated version of the original restaurant. We get those 1 to 2 second flashes of long, dark hallways with checkerboard floors, a party room with balloons deflated and stuck on the ceiling, and a parts and service area lit by cold industrial lights. It's not the neon Pizzaplex style. It's older, more analog, the kind of place where doors stick and the cameras don't all work. That's important because the trailer wants us to think, oh cool, more rooms, but the details say more places for Fazbear to hide bodies. Let's start with the appearance details the trailer actually gives us, because that's where the horror is sneaking in. Early in the trailer, we can see what's clearly the new Freddy model. Brighter, cleaner, almost toy-like. But if we freeze on the left side of the frame, we notice the jawline is slightly misaligned, like someone forced a new plastic shell over an older endoskeleton. That's a classic FNAF move, pretty on the outside, wrong on the inside. A few shots later, there's a blink and you miss it angle of what looks like Toy Chika. She's glossy and colorful, but the eyes expressionless but unsettling. They don't track the camera, they stare past it like they're locked on something else in the room. And even more disturbing, the beak looks just a bit too sharp for a kid-friendly redesign. We can also see in one of the backstage shots, the one where the flashlight pans across the shelves, a head that shouldn't be there. It's a Freddy head, yeah, but it's more scuffed, more mangled, and nightmarish than the main one. That suggests this location is reusing parts from an older build. That's Fazbear 101, don't throw evil away, just repaint it. Now, when does the viewer encounter these details in the trailer? The editors are doing that thing horror trailers love to do, major scares in the middle, lore crumbs at the edges. The obvious stuff, animatronic jumps, door slams, a kid screaming, is centered. But the really disturbing stuff is at the edges and in the reflections. There's one shot where the security monitor is flickering, and we can see a figure in the hall. But if you look at the monitor frame itself, there's a second reflection, a person, not the guard. That implies someone else is in the building at the same time. The trailer never names them, so we have to assume it's a returning character. And yeah, that lines up with Vanessa watching from the dark again. Another behavior clue, there's a moment where the music box sound starts. You know, the soft, tinkly notes FNAF loves, but the animatronic on screen isn't the puppet. Instead, we're seeing a toy-style Bonnie moving slowly down the corridor. That's off. That suggests the triggers are scrambled in this place. Things are activating that shouldn't be activating, or someone is manually triggering them from a control room. So in the movie, that could mean a human antagonist is using the animatronics like guard dogs. Let's talk about the story rhythm the trailer is hinting at. It looks like the movie is going to follow a new night guard or investigator who comes in after the events of the first film. The trailer gives us the setup shot, a character walking into the pizzeria with a flashlight, lights off, everything covered in dust cloths. That's exploration mode. Then we get the midsection of the trailer with fast cuts, animatronics waking, party room lights glitching, someone slamming a security door. That's rising danger. Then, right near the end, the trailer slows down again and shows us a close-up of an animatronic's face, and behind it, blurred, is that a child's drawing taped to the wall? That's not a end-on prop. Fazbear puts those drawings where something tragic happened. Before we move on, we have to point out the most disturbing environmental detail. There's a basement or lower level. We can tell because the camera angle changes to a staircase shot where the walls are concrete instead of the fun checkered pattern, and there are exposed pipes. That's your parts and service, your storage, we don't tell the health inspector about this. The flashlight beam in that shot hits what what looks like a metal table with restraints. That's not for birthday parties. That's either for animatronic maintenance or for keeping someone still. If the trailer is showing that in 2 frames, it wants us to know the horror goes deeper than haunted mascot suits. Alright, let's tie this to the wider FNAF story. The first movie already established the missing children and William Afton as the killer. A sequel trailer showing refurbished animatronics and a deeper facility suggests this location was either still operating after the murders or was quietly prepped to reopen. That means someone was still willing to work with Fazbear assets even after the truth was known. This suggests a cover-up that wasn't just one bad dad, but a whole system. And it seems likely that the human presence we keep seeing in reflections, that blurred figure, that silhouette at the far end of the hallway, is that system's representative. Fans are going to point to Vanessa here because the trailer style is doing that don't show her face clearly trick. You get the side profile, the flashlight, the authoritative walk. It has been theorized that Vanessa, being the one who knew the truth in the first film, becomes almost a handler in the second, trying to keep the animatronics contained, but also trying to keep the secret. So those hidden background shots of someone standing behind glass watching the animatronics thrash. That's your human antagonist protector. Now let's do a mini walkthrough of how this movie could flow, based on the trailer's structure. Setup guard arrives, told it's an old place with some faulty robotics. We see him boot up the monitors. We can see that classic multicam Fazbear layout. Everything looks dead. Then, with all of that out of the way, the trailer shows the first anomaly, a camera feed that flickers, and for just a frame, shows an extra child in the dining room. There are no kids in the building. So either that's a ghostly residue, possessed animatronic stuff, or creepier, an old recording bleeding into the live feed. That's FNAF doing FNAF. Investigation exploration. The guard starts opening doors he's not supposed to. The trailer shows him pushing into a storage room where there are 2 suits on stands. One is clearly the current line. The other is older, stained, maybe even a spring lock style frame. The camera doesn't linger on it, but we notice it. That's a visual reminder Afton existed here. His tech existed here. If the movie wants to revive him, that suit is the door. Rising danger, the animatronics start moving in ways that aren't part of a normal night cycle. The trailer shows a toy-like Freddy turning its head slowly toward the camera, but the eyes don't glow evenly. One is brighter, angry, like it's channeling something. That's the possession angle. Another cut shows a hand, an animatronic hand, scraping along the wall, leaving a dark streak. That's damage that shouldn't be in a kid's restaurant. The disturbing hidden detail here is that the walls have layers of scratches, not just one, meaning this isn't the first time they've been active at night. Final confrontation hint, the trailer ends, or almost ends, with a door being pounded from the other side and the guard screaming. But in the sound mix behind that, really faint, you can hear a woman's voice saying, "Don't let him out." That's not an animatronic line. That's a human line. That's someone who knows exactly what's behind the door. So either Afton or an Afton-like presence is still contained somewhere in this building. And the movie's horror is going to be about keeping him in while the animatronics try to free him. So what does this all mean for the trailer? Let's get into the theory segment. The likeliest theory is that the trailer is showing us 2 threats at once. The public, visible threat, the toy-style animatronics chasing the night guard, and the hidden legacy threat, whatever or whoever is in the basement old suit. The disturbing part is that the human character, probably Vanessa, is on the side of the legacy threat, not because she wants people to die, but because she's still protecting her father's secret or trying to carry out old Fazbear protocols. That would explain why she's always shown watching, not helping. It would explain why he cameras glitch right when the guard finds something. She's cutting the feed. Another fan favorite alternative is that the trailer is hiding the fact that the kids' spirits are getting angrier. Those drawings we saw, one of them in the trailer, looks smudged with red. And yeah, it could just be red crayon. But you know, FNAF loves those is it blood or is it paint shots. If those drawings are appearing in places the guard hasn't been, it's a sign the building itself is manifesting memories. So the animatronics aren't just hostile, they're restless. They want recognition, and the human antagonist is stopping that. Fans would read that as the movie is about letting the truth out, and the horror is what happens when you try to suppress it. We should separate what's confirmed in the trailer from what we're inferring. confirmed multiple animatronics, at least one old suit, a lower level maintenance area, someone monitoring security who is not the main character, and an audio line warning about letting him out. Inferred that Watcher is Vanessa, or someone filling her role, that the old suit is tied to Afton, and that the animatronics are being manually triggered. It's not all on screen, but the pattern lines up too well with what the first movie set up, and that's why these hidden details are so disturbing. Not because they're jump scares, but because they show intent. The restaurant didn't just accidentally stay haunted, someone kept it that way. Someone made sure the doors still lock, the cameras still run, and the animatronics still have power. That's organized evil, Fazbear style, alright? That's our breakdown of the disturbing hidden details in the FNAF 2 movie trailer. The background figures, the basement shot, the double animatronic heads, and the voice that absolutely should not be there. If you enjoyed this breakdown, remember to leave a like, comment down below with what you want to see next, and of course subscribe to Horror Lorekeeper for more FNAF and horror content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.